Hi, it's Bijan here. Do you also feel sometimes in life that something's holding you back and you're not there where you want to be? Usually we all have these limiting beliefs that keep us back from living our full potential. And if it's for you the same, then this video is for you. So recently, another coach, Jonathan, reached out to me exactly with this topic. So he feels like he's not there where he wants to be with his business. So I want to invite you on this beautiful exploration journey we did together. And it's a real coaching one-to-one, so you can listen to real coaching. And I think it's very beneficial, and you can reflect on your own patterns and issue, which maybe happens inside of you on a subconscious level. If you're new to my channel, please give me an early thumbs up, subscribe, and check out my course about personal transformation. It's very powerful. You can change yourself radically. I put a coupon code in the description below. The prices go up soon, so go check it out. And now let's go right into the coaching.
Awesome. Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
It's very interesting to read through your website and a lot of amazing things you do, and yeah, it's inspiring.
Thank you. And yours too. Yours is very interesting. Very nice. Very professional.
Thanks. Yeah. You want to start maybe? I read again through your email before our session.
Okay.
Where you briefly mentioned that you. I just wrote down two quotes, like your business didn't take off until, and that you can't seem to break through was another sentence. Would you like to, explain a little bit more what we can do today best for you? What would be your goal for today, and how can help you?
Well, I was hoping maybe we could, look for something that's holding me back. I help people to break free, but yet I can't find the way to break free for myself.
Yeah.
So on the business side, the results are, I get very good results with my clients. They're very happy. And they come back, and we normally, before the end of the relationship, whatever they wanted to solve has been solved. But on the financial side, I'm yet to make the entire business a success. So I have another business which keeps everything going. But on the coaching side, that's really where I want to go full time. I really want to make this a success. And I think in the last few weeks, I've been very motivated. I've done a lot more work, and things are beginning to take off. But I feel overwhelmed. There's so much that needs to get done. With my vision, I require a team, but I don't have the resources to hire a team. So I feel like I'm stuck between, I need to have this before I can do this, which I know is not a good, it's not the ideal space to be in. And I've put a lot of work into this business over the years. I started this business really in 2007, and it came up, and then I left it. I went for something else, and now I've come back to it again. I just feel now is the time to make it a success, make it sustainable.
Okay. So what do you think, which is the best route to go? So I'm struggling a bit, because we can talk do you think it makes more sense to explore on an inner level with subconscious beliefs maybe, or things that holding you back there? Or would you think it is more helpful if I share some stuff from a business perspective with my experiences? Or what would you think would be most helpful for you? I'm not sure. So which
okay, well,
we can also do both, like whatever.
Yes, maybe a combination. But what attracted me to your site and to your videos was that you put emphasis on the unconscious. I believe that your unconscious, like you first create unconsciously. If you don't make the change in the subconscious, the change in the physical world is not going to happen. And I have made an effort to change in the unconscious, and yet I'm still not breaking through. So I think that I have a blind spot. There's something that I can't see. Okay, I don't know where I'm missing some things.
Yeah.
So if you can help me find what is the unconscious block, or what is the thing I need to change to create the results that I'm looking for, that's what would be. I think that's what I noticed about your website copy, was that that's something that you focused on.
That's right.
So that's what I want to do.
Okay, awesome. Then we dig into your subconscious and see what's going on there. Do you have any hypothesis? What from your side? I mean, we can talk like professionals here. So I'm pretty sure you spent a lot of time in trying to analyze it on your own. And so, what is your take, or what are your thoughts about what is going on in your head and your subconscious?
Okay, so I think that when I think of the actual thing that's not happening, is I don't have trust in people. And I have beliefs around believing people are going to do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been in internet marketing and that kind of space for a long time. I know that a lot of people, they will say what they have to say to get the job, but that's just copywriting. It's sales and marketing is always at some level untruthful. So I find that I don't trust people because I know the copy that I've written. So I think it's a matter of projecting, as a copywriter, as an internet marketer, I know you're lying. I know this guy that is on Fiverr is lying. So there's a level of mistrust. And I think if I trusted people to just do what they're going to do, I could outsource. I could build that team. I could make it happen.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's something where we could dive deeper.
Interesting. Is it possible that there's like a little bit of a perfectionist inside of you as well? A perfectionist side which wants to do everything super accurate in the best way possible.
I think there's some things that I like to do right, get it done right. So I have a criteria that must be fulfilled. And when I outsource something, I know I want these criteria filled. So there is some level of that, but I think it's more about getting value. It's got to be the right value. And it's a value that I see, not always what the seller sees. So I've had websites designed that cost a fortune to me. And they charged those fees because they were an agency. But it wasn't better than someone on Fiverr or what I could do myself. And then I felt, I was right. That
betrayed.
It was like price doesn't equal value. And I think that also gets me stuck. My wife keeps telling me, don't go cheap, get the best. And then when I go and get the best, it's like, it's just as good as that other guy. That was 1/4 of the price. So I think I do have some issues around that, paying more than I could have got it somewhere else for the same thing or better. I don't know if that gives you some clues as to the psychology and the beliefs and the wanting value and the mistrust.
Do you have an idea where this mistrust comes from? Some experience from your past, or
I might have, my mom is very critical of people. So her experience with being, let's just say that my mom was very suspicious of everyone. And I think that might have rubbed off on me. Everyone is trying to cheat or scam or this or that. So it's like, okay, who can you trust? So I absorbed my mother's interpretation of reality.
Mhm. And is there also another side in you which has some trust in people sometimes, or is it always like this, that you don't trust people?
No, I do trust people as well. I absolutely do. I think it's about if I can supervise that person and I'm in control of their day, like when I have staff, I have employees that work for me. I trust them because I know I'm watching them.
Mhm.
But when I outsource and I'm not in control, then I don't feel trust.
Yeah.
So I think it's a matter of I need to be able to be in control of that relationship, of that output.
Mhm. Okay. I want you to feel free, please, at any point in time. You know best which route to go, and I need your guidance. If we try to explore with you a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to find maybe this blind spot you're talking about, please feel free to give me feedback at any time, because I always, so my philosophy in coaching is like always the client knows best, because you spend way more time than me in your head.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, I'm just a guide, and trying to guide you with questions. But please feel free at any point in time to. I will also suggest maybe that every like half an hour we make a little break to go together on the meta level and see,
Mm-hmm.
are we going in the right direction? Do you think we're going in a helpful direction, or maybe it is more helpful to go another direction?
Okay.
Does it sound okay for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So I will just follow a little bit my intuition and ask you some questions, but feel free at any point in time that. So do you think it's helpful to look into a little bit more in this yeah, dynamic from your mom, which rubbed off on you, how you called it? Like, do you think there could
Mm.
be could be beneficial to explore more around this? Or
Yeah. Like I think it can be beneficial. What I'm looking for is, that breakthrough of aha, that's it, and then a solution to resolve that.
Mhm.
So like I think I already have some insight now, having explained it to you, that my mother's suspicion was being a very suspicious person,
Mhm.
and my mistrust. I haven't really articulated that to other people
Mhm.
because that's my private business, what goes on
Yeah.
in my head. So I've really gotten some clarity on that, which I feel good about. So we've really made some progress.
Mhm. Okay.
So I suppose now on the business side, I mean, you're also in the business of helping people in coaching, and you have a past in another profession. Now you've come out and you're doing this. And I was also in finance, in
Mhm.
accounting. Actually, I was a bookkeeper and accountant.
Yeah.
So getting into this business, maybe you could shed some light on what you've done to be successful and how you could maybe advise. What are the internal steps that you've taken?
Yeah.
The subconscious, the conscious. What have you done to create yourself from the past?
Mhm. Okay. I would love to elaborate a lot about this, but if it's fine for you, I would put this in the second half of our coaching, because
Okay.
it's the easy part. And I feel kind of, like you said, we get more effects if you look a little bit more inside of you and what's going on there. Is that fine for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I think we are close to maybe something, um, maybe not, I don't know, but would it be fine if we explore a little bit more before we switch to the like business and like rational
Yeah,
side? Yeah.
of course.
Okay. Uh, so you said before, you said like you get a little bit more clarity now that you explained it with your mom, and that this side maybe comes from her side. It's usually like this, that we have different sides in us, or different parts which are influenced by our parents, people we grown up with, and you know all this. So this side of you which is influenced by your mom, what does it has for an impact? What is there in a communication there inside of you? Like if you, for example, try to do something new or work on your business. So what is this side saying to you? What's the dialogue there inside of you?
Well, I think I have multiple parts that come out at different times and they say different things.
As we all have.
Yes. So when I'm in the zone and I'm motivated, I believe I can do this. I just do one step at a time. And then I have a planner part that comes out and says, oh, look at this plan. And then I've got another part that comes out that's overwhelmed. That says, you can't do this. You can't do this by yourself. So don't even try. And then I go down. And then, so I think there's different things coming out at different times.
Okay. It's amazing how you can articulate this. Like, I feel like we just need half an hour, where I need with other clients 10 hours. I would like to invite you to look at this part which gets overwhelmed, because this is usually the parts that block us and hold us back and set us back. How do you react then? Like, or what can you explain a little bit more in detail what's going on? And if this side comes out, what arguments brings this side out? Like you said, it's like you can't do it. So can you give me a little bit more like details about the dialogue when this side comes up, this overwhelmed side?
Well, that overwhelmed part goes into details. It looks at all the details. And I am, being from an accounting background, I am all about details. That part of me. So then I think, okay.
The perfectionist side.
Yes, we've got to balance. Exactly correct. So, and I see, okay, to be really honest with myself, this is a big project. But when I'm optimistic, I don't see the details. I only see the big picture. So from a high level, looking down, I can get like, yeah, I can do this. But looking on the ground, it's the worm's eye view or the bird's eye view. From the bird's eye view, I got this. But when I'm the worm, it's like I don't have this. And I think when that voice comes in, I feel very heavy. And all of my energy that I had it feels like like lead, solid, no energy. And I have to consciously break that pattern. I have to go talk to my wife, get it out.
Yeah.
So the actual dialogue, like I think that the communication from that part of me isn't always words, it's feelings. So the action is that I think about it, I see the detail, I see the reality from that point of view. I see that it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of investment. And then I feel heavy and down because I don't believe I have what it takes when I'm in that identity. So then I basically withdraw. I withdraw. And then what I'll do is I'll go do something else that gives me pleasure. I'll go binge Netflix or some other activity which makes me not think about what I'm trying to create. And sometimes, this has happened in the past after a big setback, is I won't come back to my business for a month or 2 or 3. And by that time, all that momentum I've gained is lost. So it really costs me a lot of time, energy.
Okay. I have 2 or 3 ideas. You tell me what you think is most helpful. We could look at these. You said there's not really dialogue, it's more like feelings that occur, and like internal sensations maybe that happens, that you said you described it heavy, these things.
Yes.
So we could explore a little bit there with like pictures and see if we could find ways to how to react, or maybe to attach something on this pattern that can help you to come back in another state. One idea. Another idea is to explore. I wonder a little bit about the intentions of this site. So maybe we could explore there a little bit what this site wants. And maybe another idea is to look, what does the site need? So what, maybe there's some needs around the site. Do you have an impulse which we should start with, or do you think these are good ideas to look at?
No, this is a good idea. I think that side of me never really gets heard. That part that gets overwhelmed doesn't get heard, doesn't get acknowledged.
Yeah.
So it has
what happens? What do you do instead?
Well, when I feel that heaviness, that bad feeling, I withdraw. I don't entertain it. I just go away. So, and going away means not working on the business.
Yeah.
So I think what would be interesting is to hear what it wants to say. Yeah. What is its positive intention? I believe all behavior has a positive intention.
Yeah.
So what is it trying to do? And I think
if you could ask it, what do you think it would say?
Well, it would say that it is trying to prepare me, because it's more detail oriented. So it's saying, here, don't make mistakes. Get it right. I suppose what happens is I can actually see now that there's another part that comes in. So there's the detailed oriented part that comes in.
Yeah.
It says there's a lot of work. Get prepared. Do this right. And then there's another part that's, they're blended parts. We're going to unblend them.
Yeah.
That says, don't bother doing that. It's too much. So now I think we've unblended them. They're 2 different parts, in fact. And that part is who I want to talk to, the one that says, you can't do this. And what that part is saying is, it isn't saying much at all, actually. I think that part's also kind of depressed. Yeah.
And this other part which comes in, what does this part say?
Well, if I look, I'm looking for the positive intention on this part. And I think it's just to conserve energy. This part cannot see a bright future if we continue with this activity. And it feels hopeless. So that's saying, save your energy, go do something else. I think that's where I'm at. Well, that's where I have been.
Mhm. Is it possible that this part, I'm not sure, but is it possible that this part sees more the bigger picture of the business, and this part maybe knows that if you lose yourself in the detail, nitty-gritties,
Mm,
that you can't make progress? Is this also kind of, or
yes, I think there is an element to that.
Mhm.
Excuse me. I think there is an element of yeah. No, I think it's more that the communication is clearly saying it's no use. So there's an element of hopelessness
Mhm.
from that part. It doesn't believe that success is possible.
Mhm.
And I think this part is quite well developed and quite strong because it has an influence through different areas of my life.
Mhm.
If I don't feel that there is hope in the investment of the energy,
Mhm.
then I back away.
Mhm.
And this happens in, it happens in relationships, in friendships, in business opportunities.
Mhm.
So I think
So
we
the
need to find that.
the intention is to save you energy.
And yeah, exactly, to save me from wasting energy, attention, resources.
Mhm. And you have any idea where this comes from? Did you make experiences where like things didn't work out, or what do you think how this part shaped? Like,
Hmm. Yeah, I think I have had experiences where I tried and failed. So that trying and failing part,
mm,
I think those kinds of experiences would have created this kind of part as an explanation,
mm,
as a defense.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't? Who
mm,
hasn't tried and failed as a
yeah,
child?
yeah.
So yeah, I remember particularly in I was in boarding school, and there were things I tried to do, sports teams I tried to get into, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't throw a ball or hit a ball,
Mm,
and just couldn't break through. And then eventually I was like, okay, I'm never going to hit a ball or kick a ball again.
mm,
So I just withdraw.
mm. Sounds it was very hard for this side to be excluded through these experiences.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's painful.
Mm, yeah, it sounds
It
like
is painful. Um, yeah.
So what could you give? Uh, how old have you been at this time? This incidences you described in school.
Well, the ones that I remember, I mean, I was in boarding school from age 9 to 13.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in those times that those formative years, without any mature adult input.
Mm-hmm.
In a boarding school, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a parent or a guide to help me understand all those negative things that were happening, all those painful things that were happening. So yeah, that was the time.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think a 9 to 13-year-old little boy that felt like overwhelmed, what does it need? What could you give this side of you?
Well, I think if there was some wise guide at the time to explain those things,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't have interpreted those results, those outcomes. and I would have had different beliefs, and I would have had different feelings. The identity would have shaped differently. So what it needs is maybe to be told, or to be maybe to revisit those experiences, reinterpret them, create a new meaning. And I think that if that experience of trying and failing wasn't so bitter, and it was explained, look, everyone tries. I mean, I could do this to myself now. I could do this to others now.
Yes, yeah, I would love that. I would love that. So your advantage now is you have an adult side with all your experiences and all your knowledge. And I would love if you turn to your other side and explain this to this side. Like, that would be great.
Okay. So I've communicated that to younger self, that failing is necessary, but staying down is optional. And if I had gotten up every time, eventually I would have succeeded. And then I wouldn't have this this way of thinking. My thinking would be different. It'd be more optimistic. It would be more. I think the real thing is I would have, excuse me, I would have perseverance, which I think has been lacking.
Yeah.
So I think that I do feel like perseverance would be the natural outcome of having reinterpreted those events. So that's good.
Yeah, that's nice. Maybe even maybe you could even allow this side to feel like this for a while, and maybe just telling it that now it's different because you as an adult, you are there for this side and it's not alone anymore.
Feels good.
Yeah, maybe you could give it a hug, whatever it needs. Yeah. I think it appreciates the words more than the wisdom more than the hugs. Yeah.
So yeah, but
that's
yes.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever it needs, you know best.
Yes. Good.
Because what usually happens, that I don't know how it is on your side, but often after such a while withdrawal or binge watching Netflix or whatever you do, then there comes another side in which gets mad about what happened or about this side, or and usually the opposite happens, that we beat the side even more up for what's happening, and that's usually a destructive spiral. I don't know if it was like this for you as well, but
yeah, I think it is like that, but what I do is I'll focus on the activity that produces the results I want. So I don't necessarily get depressed or angry. I'll just ignore. So this goal of mine, this business of helping others, it's been I would say a lifelong, from the age of about 20. So I've been had this dream for 42 years to help people, a lot of people. So the dream always comes back. The energy always comes back, no matter what happens. But when I do feel down, I'll go towards, okay, what's making money now? Excuse me. What's bringing in the business right now? And I just go back to that. So, and then I'll avoid, I'll avoid thinking about this other project, the coaching project.
Yeah.
But yes, I think if I really analyze, there's a couple of moments, fleeting moments of anger at myself, or a sadness that I don't have what it takes. But I feel like it's close. Yeah, it's close. Just have to break through. So I think there's, it's complex. It's never just a simple one emotion. It's lots of emotions.
Yes.
Happening at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe this can remind you, like, if you next time feel this overwhelm. So maybe let's have a look on the other side again, so that we don't get mixed up. So the first side was like looking at all the details, and and what do you think this side needs? Is there something this side needs from you?
Which side?
The first one you mentioned, like, it starts with this side, the side which looks on all the details and then says, oh, don't, or I don't know, like, so you mentioned first the side which is very detail oriented, which looks all the details, and then the other side comes in and says, don't bother anyway.
Yes.
So I wonder if this first side needs something from you as well. If there are some needs of this side, or is there something in your internal dynamic that needs to be looked at?
Well, if I talk to that side, I feel that side on its own is very proud of what it's done. It's very good. It was developed as if it's a professional development. It wasn't just created in childhood, it was created in work. And I think it is necessary, and it has a lot of value. So I feel now a new appreciation for that side. But I think what we need to do is to resource it in a different way, so that it doesn't automatically bring in or trigger that depressive state.
I think that's important, because somehow they're intertwined.
Yes, they were blended.
Yeah.
Before we analyzed it. Now they're unblended. They're separate. So I think maybe we could resource it with another identity, another part that does something else. We need a new function to change the dynamic.
Yeah.
From feeling triggered by the detail and the enormity of the project to maybe taking action, or maybe taking just staying focused on a small piece that you can do. I think that's where I get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I'm in I wouldn't say manic state, but I get very high and excited and optimistic. And I think there's a high and then there's a low. So it comes down to the reality.
Yeah.
I think we need to find the middle where I can feel balanced. So maybe that's what we need to process, is that you need both, but you also need a middle part that says, okay, it's a lot of work, a lot of detail. You can do it. It's very exciting. Let's do it piece by piece.
Yeah. I have some ideas. You can see if this makes something or what happens. For example, if you as an adult with your adult side, if you tell this detail-oriented side, maybe sometimes it needs to hear something like, okay, I really appreciate your ambition to do every detail perfectly, but please understand for now, we need to focus on other aspects or more on the bigger picture. So like, it feels like it needs a side to we have to be careful not to reject the site, not to tell it, oh, it's not needed. So you very appreciate it, but please understand we need also other things that are important, especially like the big picture and maybe also the understanding of the other side, which gets overwhelmed. So maybe you can, as your adult side, you can. What would this side say if you say, look, I highly appreciate your efforts and your wish to make everything perfect, but look, there's this other side which gets totally overwhelmed and which feels then depressed and sad. And maybe we can agree that we don't have to do 100% perfect. Maybe is it okay to agree on, I don't know, 80%, 70%? So it's something like this.
Mm-hmm.
What happens inside of you if you think about this concept, or what could help here best? Like, I think you get my point. What I want to try to
Yes, yes.
try to give you some ideas to how to manage this internal process a little bit better with the two sides, that both sides feel seen. Not, we don't want to reject them or hit on them, but that we can find this balance, that you can find this balance and not one side takes over. I think it sounds like in the past, maybe this perfectionist side takes over for a while and then the other side feels totally overwhelmed and then you end up doing nothing at the end. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think that this part that's very detailed. It feels very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's an intelligent solution, it will accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an idea. Okay. The 80-20 principle.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can just 80-20 it, do the 20% that gets you 80% of what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just keep coming back and adding on. So I know it's a big project, but if we just start here and just get the basics in, get the basics in, get the basics in,
Mm-hmm.
and then we come back and then improve on what we've done, etc. That kind of solution would work for that part. That part wants an intelligent solution.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with that solution, that can work.
And what do you think about the other side? Would it work also with the other side involved? Would 80-20 be enough for the other side not to feel overwhelmed quickly again? Or has there some negotiation to be done? Maybe
No,
70-30, I don't know.
80-20 is good.
Yeah.
No, I think the other part, I think what we did was we communicated that that part was created because trying and failing ended in trying and failing.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was reinterpreted to mean try, fail, try again, succeed,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been different. We needed that wisdom to come in.
Mm-hmm.
So that part has been, I wouldn't say entirely processed, but it feels like it's it's got greater perseverance than it had before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now willing to fail and try again. And that's for now, that's already a big improvement.
That is amazing.
Yeah, just keep trying.
Yeah. Amazing. From your, these are some subconscious questions.
Mm-hmm.
From your, if you could tell which side is closer to you? The first side, which looks at the details, or the other side, which feels overwhelmed? Could you say that something like, could you answer the question like this?
Yeah, I would say that the one that is senior, if there was a rank, from CEO downwards, the detail-oriented part would be senior to the depressive part. But that depressive part is very powerful, and when it takes over, it lets everyone know.
Fuck you, senior.
Yes, it burns down the office building.
yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Where are they located? Can you tell this? Like the detailed one? Is it inside of you? Is it outside of you? Is it behind you, in front of you, right, left? Do you have any association where the site is living?
Yeah, I feel like the detailed one is right. It's like my right hand. It feels like it's here on this side of me as my advisor, as my, when you make mistakes in accounting, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
So this guy's right here saying,
always alert.
Right. Always alert to errors.
Yeah.
Analyzing, checking, thinking, strategizing. So it's a very well-developed part as well. The other part, I feel, is more center body to the left. So it's like an opposite, but it's a heavier feeling. Closer to my stomach, lower body.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's more powerful, because it affects that area, that nerve center. It's quite heavy. Well, it has up until now.
Yeah.
I still, if I think about the energy, I feel it in that space. That's why it's so influential.
Yeah. Interesting. You can maybe experiment a little bit with it. Like sometimes it can help if you stay with these sensations and these, it comes from our subconscious that we sometimes know where these parts are living. So for example, if you, just an idea which popped out, if you take your right hand, which you said, this is a side connected kind of to the planning side, or the looking out for errors, and maybe put it on the other area, and like that they can make friends, or I don't know if this does something like so you can play around visualizing different things to
I feel like they are in better communication, and they can, well, if the communication is better, there'll be a real-time negotiation that occurs when those triggers happen, and that'll already change the outcome. So I think that's already a big improvement. So I didn't move. I imagined they were moving closer together, and that the right side was moving to the left lower side. And it felt neutral. So there wasn't a big shift, but there was a connection, where they say, okay, we'll talk. When there's a trigger, we'll talk.
That's
so
good.
That's good. That's good.
That's amazing. You can also experiment with, sometimes it can be helpful to get a bit distance or a bit space to one of the sides. Sometimes if we feel too overwhelmed, that can help, like imagining, like, oh, whatever, or sometimes things, just some ideas. This feeling in your stomach, which you described, which is pretty strong when this depression comes up and this side gets activated. Could you associate a color with it? If you could, which color would you give it? If not, it's also fine.
Yeah, I mean, it does have a color when I think about it. It's like a gray and blue mixed, you know, two separate colors, gray and blue. But what's interesting now is that before it was quite a heavy solidness.
Yeah.
Like a glue, sticky, gluey blob of glue. Now it's more like a fuzzy, not a solid. It's more like a gas. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a change that's already occurring in that energy in that system.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's pretty good, because I think, you know, we've really gotten some good insights in the sources of the behavior, the identities, the parts that have been working in the background, and then resource those, reinterpreted events, changed meanings. And I think consciously, even though I'm not going to rely on 100% on the unconscious, I'm going to say consciously, you know, when this happens, we need to persevere. We need to try again. We need to implement 80-20. Do the 20%, it gets some results. And just, I think also what might be helpful is to not, you know, balance. You know, I think what's happened is that each of these identities operating independently. They never sat at the table together. So the big picture guy never said, hey, detailed guy, what's happening? Let's talk. You know, look at this lower end, let's talk. Let's bring it all together. So if I had all those parts in the boardroom discussing the plan, and we get it all out, you know, maybe we could do like a power meditation conversation together. So maybe I'll do that today.
Yeah,
get that done.
Amazing. Yeah, that would be great. I think that sounds so amazing. And what can be always helpful is remind yourself if these parts get activated, so that you remind yourself that these are just parts of you. And especially if this depressed part is activated, like parts in our brain get activated which are connected to this 13-year-old experience, and we feel like powerlessness because of these experiences back then, and these brain parts also don't have connections usually to ourselves with all the experiences and all the wisdom and the knowledge we gained over all the years. So it would be cool to your conversation with all your parts if you bring like a Jonathan coach part with you, which has all the competences, all the resources you gained over the years, and guide these other parts and moderate the dialogue and make sure that the dialogue is always in a loving way, not dismissive, or not that the parts don't fight each other and stuff like this. So this could be maybe also helpful to remind yourself these parts are separate parts, and with maybe separate ages, different ages, and different capabilities. But there's also the other side in you, the coach, which has all the knowledge and all the wisdom and can support these sides with whatever they need. This is usually also very helpful to.
That's very, very, very good. Yeah, I will do that. I'll have myself, my coach self, in that conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we need to also have the self without the parts, just
Yeah.
overseeing all that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
To make sure that it's being guided by the higher self,
Mm-hmm.
the higher self.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, this is what I meant basically. If you call it the higher self, it's even better. Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's a self without any labels.
Mm-hmm.
If it has a label, it's not the self.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
beautiful.
that self is like the God of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
self.
It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the most important part is giving the other parts love, because mostly that's what they need. Mostly that's what they didn't got in the past, and
Mm.
empowerment. And this is where the magic comes in. If you give them love, if they feel seen, if they feel appreciated for the first time, maybe in your life, then this makes usually a huge difference.
Yes. Yes, I do feel that there are some parts that haven't been acknowledged
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and loved for their contribution.
Mm-hmm.
So, that will be part of that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Do you think you have enough for this part, for the subconscious part,
Yeah,
to work with for now, or should we
I think
look at
we've made some
something?
good progress. I mean, we've made good progress on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like to get your ideas on the real world practical
I
application.
would love to do that now. Yeah, of
So
course.
let's do it.
So, but let me one final word to the other things. Expect falling back in your old pattern.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally natural, because these things are like saved in our body, and if it doesn't happen, it's fine. It doesn't have to happen, but if it happens, that's normal. And it could be a reminder for what we just said, that okay, just this side of me
Mm-hmm.
is right, feels like lonely, and could be a reminder to turn towards these sides and see what they need, and if you could give them something. So don't
Okay.
so it just see how it goes from here, and don't be upset if the things happen again, because it's usually normal that triggers are subconsciously triggered, and then things happen. But
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
yeah,
Yeah.
allow yourself some old patterns to occur. That's totally okay. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Part of the
Thank you.
journey. You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed this process and watching and listen to this process. So as you can see, there are a lot of things going on in ourselves and on a more subconscious level. And if we dig deeper there, if we explore our different parties, our different sides, then this can and make friends with them, like you saw in the process, and turn towards them. This can be really a game changer and transform your life. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching today. Check out my course in the description below, and thanks for being here, spending so much time. See you in the next video. Bye bye.